Mangez le rat.
Mangez le rat. Mangez le rat.
Everybody's doing the brand new dance now.
Come on, baby, do the locomotion.
You know you'll get to like it if you give it a chance now.
Come on, baby, do the locomotion.
My little baby sister does it with ease. You know it's easier than your ABCs. So come on,
do the locomotion with me.
Thank you very much.
Don't live here, don't surf here.
Not surfing.
Bienvenue à tous pour ce nouvel épisode de fin de séance en direct du BIFFF. Alors aujourd'hui, petite vidéo spéciale puisqu'on a interviewé le réalisateur Lorcan Finnegan pour son film The Surfeurs. On vous laisse avec son interview maintenant et on se retrouve en fin de vidéo pour la critique du film avec Nicolas Cage. À tout à l'heure.
À tout à l'heure.
Yeah, I shot a film here. I made a movie in Liège.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I prefer Brussels, I think.
Well, I've got to be on my way. I'm swimming home.
You're swimming home?
Oh, I know, it's weird. Like, some people who've seen the film love the film, but so many people haven't seen it.
My old house is finally for sale, and I'm buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the short story by John Cheever was kind of an inspiration for Thomas Martin, the screenwriter, early on. But then also the film, to me, felt very like, it was a similar kind of thing about a man's downfall across a short space of time, you know. But visually, I also love The Swimmer and the way it was shot. It's such a weird and interesting film. And Burt Lancaster and Nick Cage kind of have a similarity as well. Yeah. I think he even channeled a bit of Burt Lancaster there's like one shot in the film where he's kind of gazing up and he says, you know, right up there on Clifftop Drive. It's kind of like, Burt Lancaster style.
That's a good one.
Yeah. There's also the Americanness and Australianness, like with American, Nick Cage is so American, you know, putting into this Australian setting. So I think that's the kind of the ingredients. Exactly, with like a contemporary kind of story about this, you know, masculinity in crisis and all this kind of stuff.
Listen to me, brother. I know it's smart to lose space in front of your boy, but you gotta know when to back down, or it could get a whole lot worse.
It's not like super important. It's just an inspiration, really. I mean, it's because I think the Swimmer as a story had a parallel to the Surfer in a way, you know, that just this man having this facade that's slowly kind of coming off. And so, I mean, I think elements that inspired the Surfer then were probably the use of color and the sort of dreamlike quality of the Swimmer with these very slow zooms into Burt Lancaster's face. We did a little bit of that kind of thing with Nick. And the music as well is quite strange in the Swimmer, yeah. I mean, we kind of, it took us quite a while to kind of find the right music for the film. Francois is an amazing composer. He sent me some sketches first, just trying to find a vibe. I sent him photos of the location and some videos, and we started putting stuff into a Spotify playlist. But he did send this kind of theme tune of do 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 as just a very loose sketch early on, and I really liked it, but it was more like synthy. And then as we started like making the film and we're on location, we were still exchanging ideas about stuff, and we started talking about exotica, which is like this music that was from the 60s really, where there's a guy called Martin Denny who kind of invented this style of music that was it kind of puts you into a place like a holiday in somewhere exotic, you know, like you're in Hawaii, tiki hut sound, birds, you know, and it's all very kind of artificially creating this weird feeling that you're on holidays. So we were trying to find something like that where the character is coming back to this place and he feels nostalgic about it, and he has this kind of distorted memory of his childhood and how amazing everything was.
This is a special place for us. It was magic here when I was your age.
So like a postcard, you know, faded in the sun. And that kind of style of music really sort of started bringing that to the foreground. So then we were like, okay, great, this is working. And we just, that kind of became the style of music for the film.
Hey!
You know, the characters in every scene of the film, so there's going to have to be some of them with a really kind of interesting face and good range, you know, like, so there's not that, like, this character has to play, you know, drama, comedy, action. You know, there's not that many actors who can do all of that, so he's kind of perfect for that. I remember when we were talking about sending him the script, I read through the script, picturing him in every scene, and I was like, oh yeah, this would be amazing if he does it, because he can do all of that, you know, and there's a sense of humor and lightness, and he's very kind of likable. I don't know what it is, his mouth, his face, even his voice, you know. Well, I mean, Vivarium was very different, where it was kind of a commentary on society, you know, especially Irish kind of housing crisis and, you know, consumer capitalism and all that. But like, they're sort of similar in that they trap the characters in a place and put a lot of pressure on them. But I think, you know, everyone can sort of relate to feeling trapped in life, you know, not necessarily physically locked in a room, but trapped in their own patterns or in their behavior, or you know, we're trapped in these fleshy bodies. So I think it's just something interesting to me to kind of explore, especially in films where there's, you know, you're trying to tell a whole movie in like a pretty limited space, you know. So I enjoy that challenge as well.
On est censé faire quoi? On reste planté là et on attend qu'il meure?
Yeah, I mean, painting in general, I always kind of look to art, not necessarily just films as reference, but like, you know, I think if I'm in another city and I go to a gallery and I walk around and looking at paintings, it's very inspirational, give you ideas for themes or scenes or lighting or composition. Yeah, so I think like Magritte, it was a big influence on Vivarium because of the weird, surreal kind of imagery that he created, and we were doing something similar with the sun being kind of fake, you know. But with the surfer, it was also like a lot of old surf documentary stuff was an inspiration as well, like the colors and lens flares and things like that. Yeah. And new wave Australian films, like, you know, from the 60s and 70s. Tom and I, the writer, and I both love new wave Australian films, and like that kind of, you know, was a big influence on my first film. Peter Weir's films and Nick Rogue's films. But like, so things like Walkabout and...
In this place, man is just another of God's creatures.
And Wake and Fright. And Long Weekends. And The Last Wave. And
Only one man can stop it. Your dreams will never be the same again.
All those kinds of movies. There's loads of them, but there's a period particularly in Australia, where people kind of, and there's a tradition almost of the outsider. Like Ted Kotcheff was Canadian, and Nick Rogue is British, coming to Australia and making a movie there. So we kind of wanted to bring back that tradition and do a kind of contemporary new wave Australian film ourselves and set this film in Australia. Like, I'd worked in Australia before, shooting commercials and stuff, and Tom, the writer, had spent a lot of time there adapting a book, so kind of familiar with it, and it has great, amazing locations and wildlife, and it has a very unique kind of quality to it, particularly at Christmas, where it's like everything's like the reverse of Europe. It's like warm and sunny on the beach on Christmas Day.
Dans les filles, dans Sophie.
Well, this film was written by Thomas Martin, so this was our first time working together. We met in like 2012 at the Tribeca Film Festival, and it turned out we lived really close to each other in Dublin, so we stayed in touch, and we've been trying, talking about doing something together for years. So that was The Surfer, and then I've been working with Garrett Shanley for years on, we did Without Name and Vivarium and Nocebo together. Yeah. And we're working on a new film called Goliath that we put together, and another one called Spirit of the Road. So so those two projects with Garrett, and I'm working on a new film with Thomas Martin as well. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hey! Fin de l'interview de Lorcan Finnegan. Maintenant, on va vous faire la petite critique de The Surfer, un film qui m'a fait incroyablement penser durant tout le film, et c'est peut-être ce qui a gâché le film, The Swimmer, un film de Frank Perry avec Burt Lancaster. Pourquoi gâcher le film? Parce que ça m'a tellement fait penser à ce film que la fin, j'imaginais autre chose. D'où mon...
Quoi, ton sentiment qu'il manque un petit quelque chose?
En tout cas, oui. Moi, je crois que ça vient de là. En tout cas, je dois le voir 2 fois pour comprendre si le film est vraiment un film que j'aime ou si c'est... Voilà. Mais pour moi, c'est un 13 sur 20. Toi aussi. Là, on est d'accord. Et toi?
Disons que moi, c'est plus parce que je compare pas trop, même si je suis d'accord avec toi, parce que j'ai vu le film aussi, mais ça ne m'avait pas frappé directement. Mais je me dois d'être un peu plus sévère que d'habitude, puisque j'ai vraiment adoré, et c'est pas un euphémisme de le dire, j'ai vraiment adoré Vivarium et Nocebo, donc pour moi c'est un cran au-dessus, mais ça reste toujours très très bon. La mise en scène est belle, les couleurs sont magnifiques. Nicolas Cage, il offre une interprétation quand même très forte. L'acteur dont je ne me souviens plus du nom, mais qui joue une sorte de gourou, m'a aussi m'a fait forte impression. Donc oui, c'est clair qu'il y a une ambiance, et pour ça il est très fort, ça il a réussi, mais ça reste un petit peu en deçà de ce qu'il a fait dans ses autres films. Voilà.
Oui, donc on peut le conseiller, c'est quand même vraiment bien, c'est soigné, la mise en scène est formidable. Mais donc on peut le conseiller. Maintenant, pour ceux qui n'aiment pas Nicolas Cage, il faut penser à ces gens-là aussi, ça peut être difficile, ça peut être compliqué. Oui. Il est toujours à la limite, c'est-à-dire il est toujours dans la justesse et dans le trop.
Pourtant, il a dit qu'il a pas, il prenait pas trop de liberté, quoi. Donc
Cage, c'est ce qu'on veut d'un film comme ça. Ceux qui voudraient voir un revenge movie, c'est pas vraiment ça. C'est loin d'être ça d'ailleurs, c'est plutôt une descente aux enfers d'un mec qui va vraiment passer d'un bourgeois à un SDF total. On révèle pas la fin, parce qu'il y a un petit coup de théâtre. Mais voilà, donc c'est notre avis, mitigé, mais pas négatif.
Pas négatif, mais disons que c'est un film qu'il faut voir, mais voilà.
Voilà, on se retrouve pour d'autres vidéos de fin de séance. On ne sait pas encore laquelle, parce qu'on ne sait pas ce qu'on va sortir prochainement. Abonnez-vous, voyez les vidéos et
Surtout regardez les bons films et bonne fin de séance.
le talent.
Coupez! Coupez!